secure bootloaders that prevent you from loading your own ROMs.
Secure bootloaders. Can I take that one? Here's your microphone.
Yeah, so actually there are devices out there that are taking advantage of secure bootloaders, and that's actually it's actually one of the interesting things that I've seen. I think the modding community is seeing gaining root privileges on devices as a means to try to attack some of those facilities. But what we're not discussing is that secure bootloaders are kind of irrelevant. Then you still have a big security hole here where someone's obtained root access on the device.
It's kind of bright. Is that it?
On the basis that Android's effectively running a version of Linux, is SANS or anybody starting to track these vulnerabilities? In terms of the fact that I can go out and I can see all the vulnerabilities in the normal Linux kernel listed on these sites. Is anybody actually doing that sort of thing?
Tracking the vulnerabilities in the Linux kernel?
Against the Android devices, so we can actually see vulnerability report CV.
Oh, okay. So he asked if anyone right now is currently tracking Linux vulnerabilities against Android devices. Not to my knowledge. I don't think there's any central place. I imagine that Google is probably trying to keep up on these things and tracking that, and a lot of these handset manufacturers are trying to keep up on top of these things. But yeah, there's no central location for that kind of stuff.
Hi there.
Yep.
You showed in the beginning how the normal application permissions accept model is an all or nothing. If you want to download and install the app, it's okay. These are the permissions you're going to give the app, right? I found it frustrating when I want to get an app and then I look at the permissions, go, I'm not going to install this.
Yeah.
What do you foresee as the future of giving feedback to those applications and changing the dynamic a little bit so that we can say, no, you can't ask for that?
So he's asking if permissions can, so it's kind of a one-shot, all-or-nothing thing, if what we kind of see, or where we see that going as far as more fine-grained access. So I actually just recently read a research paper of someone that, I can't remember what they call it, like Android permission extension or something like that, but they basically implemented what you're talking about of being able to grant certain permissions, like say they won't allow it to do all the things that it wants to do except access the internet. And so they built this extension in, and personally I think that would be nice to see that kind of functionality built in. But I think that they probably also see that as degrading the user experience, because if the application doesn't handle that properly, that it can't do one thing when it thinks that it can, that may be something to consider. But ideally, I would like to see something like that.
Really simple question. Where do you guys see Android security, both as attacks and as defensive applications, going in the near future?
Where do we see Android security and defensive attacks going in the future? So I mean, the mobile world is kind of heating up a bit. It seems like it's becoming a popular topic. There are some attacks that we're seeing in the wild. It's obviously not widespread, but as powerful as a lot of these phones are becoming, and the fact that you're essentially a dedicated internet connection with all of your personal information, I do kind of see that stuff being more of a target for people that can figure out ways to monetize that. And it seems that a lot of people are doing a lot more research in this kind of thing as well.
Do you have examples of things that are outside of the application space, as far as the attacking the browser itself, or the text messages that may come in or things of that nature?
Like actual like proper attacks against like a specific application. We haven't really done any research into that kind of stuff. It's definitely something that we've all been talking about looking into and seeing what kind of attacks we can do specifically against an application, and if we're able to do that, what can we do with what we gain from that. But no, that's nothing. We haven't actually looked into that kind of stuff. Okay, if that's it, then thank you guys for coming.